Anthony Grassi for D3 Ticker here at the Women Leaders in Sports National Convention. Happy to sit down for another small college conversation with Renee Bostic, the Director of Athletics, Wellness, and Recreation at SUNY Paltz. Renee, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So, your role, Director of Athletics, Wellness, and Recreation, walk me through. The athletics seems fairly obvious to me as somebody who covers the space, but the three of those together, walk me through kind of how that informs your role and how that comes in practice every single day.
Okay. Well, I'm fortunate and blessed to be able to serve that role at SUNY New Paltz, going into my fourth year. From a standpoint of how we were formed, we're fee-based. So all of our students at New Paltz pay an athletics, wellness, and rec fee. So when you think, we have over 7,000 students, we have probably about 340 student athletes. The other 6,900 folks are regular students, so they fall into the wellness and recreation space.
So this is your third stop as Director of Athletics.
Yes.
Walk through kind of how maybe lessons you've taken from each one, because leadership growth is not a linear trend.
It is not.
Peaks and valleys, and you go through enough trials and tribulations. Being in the chair, there's enough crazy things that happen on a regular basis. I imagine by the time you're in your third stop, you feel much more comfortable in that role. But what are kind of some of the lessons you learned in stop one, stop two, and even where you're at right now?
Right. I would say, it's continued learning, and I'm a servant leader. That's my kind of strength. And my role to the chair, I went from being a basketball coach to an athletic director. So I've had to learn and kind of grow in the chair. My first stop was Medgar Evers, which was a great place for me to start because I got a chance to do everything. We were a smaller organization, not a whole bunch of staff. So I have a knowledge base of all of the things that it takes to run an athletic department. Then from there, moving on to Notre Dame of Maryland, which is actually not that far from where we're at right now. It was a single gender institution when I was there, and got a great opportunity to really dive into more of the field sports, and because we had better facilities. And then making my transition to SUNY New Paltz, where I'm at, we're just kind of having the opportunity to put everything together and just continue to move on. And we have great staff and great student athletes. So I'm just fortunate to bring all of those nuggets that I had at those other two spaces to where I'm at to continue to just grow and provide a great experience for our student athletes.
Maybe how did you think about, I guess, documenting maybe those lessons? Mm-hmm. Because you said you're right. You've had a variety of different experiences that informs where you are right now as you continue to further your education as a leader. Have you kind of kept track of maybe all those lessons? Well, I imagine there's a lot of things you've done. There's a lot of lessons that are running around your brain. Is there a somewhat formal process you have of kind of documenting some of those lessons?
Well, I think, this is all about relationships. Mm-hmm. So at all three places, I've had a chance to build different relationships, which are helpful. So my staff is always like, a lot of people. Well, I've been in the business for a while, and I've been in a lot of different places. So, I have someone to go to and ask a question to. And it's basically putting stuff into a toolbox, right? So I have things in my toolbox. I think the biggest advantage is just having a diverse group of folks to go and ask questions to and say, well, I know you did this at this place or you did this at that place. Being at SUNY New Paltz, a lot of our folks have just had their experience in the SUNY system where I've been, in the CUNY system, and I've worked in Maryland. So it's just an opportunity for us to bring in things to continue to make us better.
And you mentioned you're part of the SUNY Athletic Conference. New Paltz is in a transitionary period.
We are.
We'll start with the decision, or I guess the formal announcement that you are exploring a membership transition. What went into that decision? Because that's not something we see very commonly across all levels of college athletics.
We want to be good stewards, not only to our students and our college community, but also to the SUNYAC conference, which we're a member of. And it basically came down to student experience. We kind of came up with 4 pillars: student athlete experience, obviously funding. As I said, again, we're fee funded, so it's not just for athletics, it's athletics, wellness, and rec. And how could we make our situation better for all of our constituents? And then also just expanding our brand. If you look at the SUNYAC, our average travel is about 4 hours. So most of our trips are overnight. So our students are not only missing, game day they got to get on a bus. Our budgets aren't enormous, so
Right.
we're traveling the best that we can. And the NJAC, there'll be an opportunity for us to shift to a lot of day games, so it'll be less class time missed, and just more engagement with the students in class with their fellow students on campus, and then a better experience for their competitions.
You mentioned kind of expanding the brand of New Paltz through this move. Um, I imagine some of that is getting potentially into some different markets, maybe.
Yep.
Where now that you're outside the SUNY system, you kind of get that name back out there. What was
Right.
maybe the university or potentially systems leadership's involvement, awareness, maybe having a touch point in this process?
All right. Well, if you look at SUNY New Paltz is a great institution. I talked about distance. So our furthest competition in the NJAC is going to be almost as close as our closest competition in the SUNYAC. Furthest competition in the NJAC is about 3 hours and 15 minutes. Average distance for us is about an hour and a half. So we're actually closer to those institutions than we are to the folks that we're currently playing. And we do have, a good number of students who are starting to explore New Paltz and come to New Paltz from the Jersey area, obviously from New York City and Long Island. I would say Long Island is probably our biggest contingent of student athletes. So just giving their parents and their friends and family a better opportunity to come and cheer them on the sidelines, because it'll be an easier commute for them.
Absolutely. One of the other big initiatives, or kind of things going on campus, is a big facility project.
Yes.
You are closing in. You've broken ground on a.
So we're almost finished. We
Almost
actually
finished, yes.
have, it's a great place to be at right now. Yeah. What I've said to folks is over probably about a 10-year period, we'll have almost $100 million of renovation projects on campus. So this summer we went public with our North Turf facility. So it was basically a rehab of the facility. We expanded the turf. So now that we're able to also host not only just field hockey and women's lacrosse, but also our soccer matches, we added restroom facilities and a press box. And then we will be announcing sooner than later a renovation to Elting Gym, which houses our athletic department and some recreational space, and also our pool. So that project will be kicking off in a year or two, probably.
$100 million worth of facility renovations over.
Close to that.
Give or take.
Give or take.
That's not a number you hear very often.
It is
at the
not.
Division II, at the small college level, period.
Exactly.
How did you go about maybe selling that is the right way to start this part of the conversation?
Well, being part of the SUNY system
gives you some more access.
We're blessed to be in the access point, and our number has come up, and it also shows the growth of the institution and what the system sees, what we have the capability to do. We're about 7,200 students right now and growing. We're in the Mid-Hudson Valley, a great bang for your buck for our regular students, and just having our facilities match the academic caliber of the institution.
How did you guys think about getting a lot of things done maybe in a shorter window? Because a lot of these, as we can imagine, there's a lot of work that needs to be done ahead of time before the dirt even starts moving, and then beyond that, there's a whole other set of challenges. So initial to getting the dirt moving process, what did that kind of look like for you in this?
It's a collaborative team, so I got to say that it doesn't necessarily start with athletics. It starts with facilities. It starts with strategic planning. It starts, in our vice president's office, and everybody. New Paltz is a place for folks to just come to work every day and roll their sleeves up to do the best they can do to improve the experience for the student athletes. So, it's like I said, it's a collaborative experience, and I got to say, our facilities folks, they're just as they're big champions for our student athletes. So they understood the assignment that, we broke ground at the end of our women's lacrosse season and spring 24, and they were able to give the facility back to us in August 24 for the beginning of field hockey. We still have a couple of things in the facility that we need to finish. The bathrooms haven't been installed yet and the press box, but we're hoping to do that in that break time from field hockey to the women's lacrosse season starting in the spring of 2025.
And what is the expected completion of the whole?
I would say, I said a 10-year period,
Okay.
so we have some time.
Okay. I'm curious how you're thinking, maybe broadly, bigger picture. You've obviously got a lot of things going on campus. I can only imagine the amount of time 9 figures in facility projects takes out of your day. But how are you thinking about maybe where New Paltz fits within, and maybe some of the broader Division III challenges, higher ed challenges, college athletics challenges, and how you're maybe preparing for something that may be coming?
Right. Well, obviously, Division III athletics is an enhancer of the experience for the student, the academic experience. And New Paltz is a great institution. It's a great bang for your buck. Everybody right now is thinking about enrollment. Our enrollment is growing and thriving, so that's also a good thing for our institution. And from the academic side, we have very academically challenging programs that have had a lot of success over the years. So just to be in an environment like that, we're attracting top students and top student athletes who want to come and compete at New Paltz. Last year we won. We were fortunate to win 5 championships. Knock on wood, we have 14 of our 16 teams compete for postseason. We're looking to get to that point. We always say we want to do better and be better every day. There's challenges, mental health challenges. It just, students looking at what the value add is for higher ed, and we're fortunate to be at a place that's shown through every day in their experience at New Paltz.
That culture of success, you have 14 to 16 teams make the postseason. What are maybe some intentional things you're doing, whether it's kind of making sure all your coaches are on the same page, everybody sees the vision, they can see maybe the investment in that changes some perspectives. Maybe what are some of the things you're doing to help further the culture within the department?
I think just living that every day. We talk in the hallways, we talk it on the sidelines. The student athletes see it. They see us. We see them. We try to do things to enhance their experience. Last spring, we were able to open a fueling station, which is an opportunity for us to just help the student throughout the day. We say fuel up, not fill up. So, stop and get a quick snack between, practice and a class. And it's those little things that show our students that we care. And it's not me. I'm a vehicle. I work with a lot of great and dynamic folks who help us do this every day. And being open to knowing that it's not just me, it's us. So maybe someone else has a better idea, and let's go with that. And there's a lot of trial and error that comes in with it, and then also looking for feedback from our student athletes.
I want to finish on that last point there, the feedback from student athletes. How do you go about receiving that feedback, fostering that relationship you have with the student athletes, and then putting the feedback, I guess, the give and take? Because obviously there are probably many things that student athletes would like, but we don't have unlimited resources at small college athletics. So how do you think about the form in which you receive that feedback, how you're indexing what that is, and then putting it into practice and giving the feedback to those student athletes to say, hey, we agree, we would love to do this, but it's not in the cards right now.
This is where it is.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's a collaborative effort, right? So we tell the students that they're in this with us. I have a great relationship with SAC, so I meet with them. We also have New Paltz Athletes of Color, another organization. I meet with them on a monthly basis. We have town hall meetings once a semester where we kind of just have an opportunity for the students to give us, feedback of where we are and what we can do better. And being realistic about the things that we can do and we can't do. Obviously, fundraising goes into that, or friend raising, and having the students be part of the process, right? I'm a firm believer. You're gonna be part of something. You can either be part of the upward mobility or the downward mobility, but you can't stand in the middle.
Excellent message to end on. Renee, thank you so much for joining me today.
Cool. Thanks for having me.